I'm gonna cry. I finished one of the BeMo Journal prompts. This one was the VIA character profile. I was brain dumping it. I really was focusing on the changes over the years about how like certain values that I had around judgment and fairness and perspective and teamwork went to the bottom. And sure, yeah, I knew why. And I was like, okay, you know, I could stop there and be like, yeah, I know they went to the bottom because I've cut off a lot of relationships that were no longer healthy for me. And these tests don't always account for that. But then I was like, no, let's discuss that. So I discussed how a lot of psychological tests ask you about relationships and family, which is really unfair because not all of us are in a relationship. Not all of us define our relationships, and not all of us have healthy relationships with our family, nor should we, right? So I feel that every time I take these tests, and it's probably why I'll make my own this year, so stay tuned for that. But I had that discussion with myself about how unfair these tests are, and then ding, 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 like ironically, like fairness is number 23 of 24 on my character profile this year. And that is a drastic change over the years. These things used to be way, way high for me. And that has been evidence of my healing journey. So it's not that I suddenly have weakness in these. If anything, through my brain dump, I was able to really understand that just because they're low value does not mean low as in less. I could really come to terms with the fact that all 24 values, this year especially, I was able to raise the floor on all of them. All of them came up. And just because some of my strongest strengths from the past are now my lowest doesn't mean anything bad. In fact, it's evidence of how I have raised everything else up. And I have just kind of this neutral point with those justice-based values. So the reason that I have a neutral point with that is because I have been smack in the middle of this healing journey for 3 years now. And I'm okay with the time that it is taking. It probably will take the rest of my life, and I'm okay with that. I have the structure. I have built the BeMo practice to support exactly that and to make sure that you find more and more and more security through that journey once you're willing to walk right up to it, right? So yeah, I'm finding strength in the fact that hell yeah, these things are at the lowest point of my list. They're at the lowest point of my list because I do them, because I was able to have perspective and fairness. But as I was writing through that, I was like, okay, I get that. That's a great justification. Ironically, since my last, my lower strength is the category of justice. And so therefore I'm justifying. So you can see how an unmet need manifests in the way that you're talking to yourself and others. So I'm literally sitting here justifying. So I note that. I'm like, oh, caught that. I know enough that I can catch that in my writing. So I'm like, okay, so let's go deeper. If I'm sitting here feeling like I have to justify it, why? Why? Bravely ask why until you know. It's one of my all-time favorite things that I say to people. So I really sat with that and continued to write about it. And I came to the perspective, number 24 on my low, right? That the reason that these are so low, yes, I have built those boundaries. I've built physical boundaries with people who no longer served me. I've broken off some really hard relationships with family members and people that were very close to me, people that I love deeply and still love deeply. That is hard. But in all of that, I have been in a survival. That's part of healing, right? We talk about feel, deal, reveal, and heal being the 4 stages of the BeMo practice. And I realized that it's not that I'm being unfair with others or that I'm lacking perspective with others, because my top strength is social intelligence. So how on earth can I lack perspective and be socially intelligent? So I asked myself that, why? And it's one of those things, and if you've been to therapy, you understand what I mean, those like aha moments that are just like, well, that was obvious. How come I didn't get it? And that's what I love, is those moments that you reveal for yourself in this self-therapy. So it came to me that the reason I have social intelligence, honesty, appreciation, humor, all these social things at the top, and then all of these other things that seem belief system, teamwork, fairness, seem social at the bottom, the aha moment for me was that I forgot myself in this. So actually, it's that I have not been fully fair with myself, and I have not given myself enough perspective. So then you got to funk that, right? So I revealed all of that through my brain dump, and then I got to the funk part. And to be honest, it really wasn't solid until I got to the needs-based part of funk. And I wrote, I have a need for perspective and fairness as it pertains to justice, blah, 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 very plain. And then I was like, wait. And then I rewrote it. I said self-perspective, self-fairness, self-justice, and bold behavior. Partially because everything begins with the self. If you want to have that with someone else, then you got to go within. But then that really started manifesting for me. So I wrote a lot of cans when I got to the C part of funk, and cans revealed choices, right? Both starting with a C. And similar to like a 5 whys practice, which is part of the BeMo extras in your BeMo practice guide. Ta-da, right there at the front of your journal. I revealed that through so many I cans, and I love to repeat I can rather than just making a list. I say I can over and over and over again because that really psychologically speaks to you. It really gets in your head and starts to empower you. So my last can was, I can receive my need for justice by strengthening my voice and using my words to tell the story of exactly what has been unfair for me all these years. And I'm gonna cry. That's real. And that is why I created BeMo. So ugly cry, and I'm here for it, and you're here for it, so thank you. That was really healing, and this is just the first part of the January, journal prompt journey, and I promise you it'll be unlike any journal prompts that you ever do, because I like to go deep. So, I finished out the BeMo practice. I found my positives with it. I was able to close the book feeling very soothed and very strong, and I encourage you to follow all the prompts on social media and really dive into these things. It's a great way to start anything. So it's not just the new year, birthdays, new journals. This is what I do annually. I'm very lucky because I have a January birthday, so it makes me kind of a New Year's freak because it's a Capricorn thing, right? I just love the restart. I'm a new age, I'm a new year, it's all new, and I'm here for it. And thank you for joining me. That is my journey with the character profile, and can't wait to share the next journey with you from the next prompt. Thanks. How is it that the busiest days always make you look like you're being lazy?